This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm answering your listener questions that were brought up in my last office hours session in August. So today's question is, how do I budget for retirement? This is a huge topic, one that I've covered many times from various different angles, looking at different aspects of budgeting for retirement. But the short answer, and I think a good place to start, is to look at what your current spending is. And you may not know exactly what you spend and in what categories, but I would really encourage you to take a good look at this and track it. The longer, the better. You can usually get a good feel if you track for 3, 4, 6 months, because then you have enough non-recurring expenses that maybe only come up periodically, and they're sort of captured in that span of time if you track for a little bit longer. So I'd say 3 months is a good minimum to shoot for, but we got to start where you are. So if you haven't been tracking your spending at all, just do it for a month. And then when you get to the end of the month, hopefully you're still doing it, do it the next month. And honestly, these days, there's no excuse not to do it because there are so many good technology tools out there that will categorize your spending for you, make it so much easier. And a good tip for this is that yes, it may be hard to put different, you have a debit card, you have a credit card, but try to consolidate a lot of your spending for that first month at least into maybe 1 or 2 cards. And so you're only tracking from a couple different spots. And then all you really have to do is, if you spend money on Amazon, go back then and kind of see, well, what exactly did I buy on Amazon? It's quite varied when I look at my own spending. Everything from travel accessories to diapers to I buy groceries on Amazon too. So it's hard sometimes because you got to go back and then categorize some of that, but it shouldn't be a lot of work. So start there, track your spending. And then once you establish a baseline and some good averages that you can use, then you can look at, well, what's going to change in retirement? Look at your bills. Are you going to have a paid off mortgage in retirement? That would be pretty nice, but maybe not. And many of you will not have a paid off mortgage. So look at your spending right now and you fast forward to your retirement date. What is likely to change? Are you going to maybe not have a dog or a cat any longer? Maybe you'll have a paid off mortgage. Maybe you're going to travel more. There's lots of expenses that either go away entirely, or in the case of travel and maybe some home improvement projects that might actually increase in retirement. The short answer, though, of how do I budget for retirement is I'm burying the lead here because this is really the answer. You want to look at your spending, but it's about 80%, I think, is a good place to shoot for. So if you're after-tax spending, let's say after taxes, you have $5,000 a month. 80% of that is $4,000 a month. 80% is a good place to shoot for. Now, many people end up spending a lot less than this in retirement. However, it's more from necessity rather than actual want. Like you hear about people only maybe spending 50 or 55 or 60% of whatever they were spending while they were working. The reality is when you dig a little bit deeper, it's not because they want to be. They spend less because they may be undersaved while they were working. They don't have enough assets to support their lifestyle in retirement. They actually have to have a lower lifestyle in retirement than they had while they were working because their income has dropped substantially. Maybe they just have Social Security and a little bit extra from other sources like their investment portfolio. But for whatever the reason, most people who are spending 55, 60% of their working years spending are doing so because not out of desire or wanting to live more austerely than they used to while they were working, but it's more about necessity because they simply do not have the income or the assets to be able to do so. So 80%, shoot for that, see if that works. And then you can back into some other things like, okay, well, now that I know my spending, can my income sources and assets support that? And that's a whole other question entirely. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips podcast.